Marsau Scott's reaction to Kimmie's mental health struggles on Love and Marriage Huntsville has sparked a serious debate among fans and cast members alike. What was supposed to be a heartfelt and vulnerable moment turned into one of the most uncomfortable exchanges we've seen on reality TV in recent times. In this video, we're going to break down what happened, the fallout, and the larger conversation it started about mental health in relationships, especially in the Black community. Kimmie, a typically level-headed and strong cast member, decided to open up about something many people struggle with: mental health. She shared her emotional struggles, hoping to be understood. But what she didn't expect was to be met with an unempathetic, dismissive response from Marsau, her husband. Instead of offering support, Marsau reacted in a way that left everyone in the room and watching at home completely stunned. His cold, almost detached reaction raised a lot of questions about how he views mental health and, more importantly, how he deals with it in relationships. At first, Kimmie was simply trying to have an honest conversation. She wasn't seeking pity or validation, but rather just a chance to express what she had been going through emotionally. However, when Marsau responded, it was clear he didn't understand the gravity of what she was sharing. His tone was harsh, and his words seemed dismissive of her struggles. This wasn't just a disagreement, it was a complete lack of empathy, and it made viewers question whether Marsau had any real understanding of mental health or how to handle such sensitive topics with his spouse. Kimmie's reaction to his response said it all. She went from being open and vulnerable to visibly guarded and disappointed. It's not every day that we see Kimmie, who is known for keeping a level head, react in such a way. But this moment clearly took a toll on her. As viewers, we could feel the tension and the awkwardness in the air. And it wasn't just an awkward silence, it was a clear sign that something much deeper was at play. Marsau's behavior didn't go unnoticed. Fans quickly took to social media to voice their opinions on his response. Some defended him, saying that Marsau is just blunt and that he didn't mean to come across as insensitive. They argued that his direct way of speaking might be a result of his personality, and that people shouldn't overreact. On the other hand, many fans were furious. They felt that Marsau's words were not only dismissive but cruel, disregarding Kimmie's feelings entirely. They pointed out that he could have responded with at least a little bit of empathy, especially given the gravity of the situation. The backlash didn't just stop with viewers. The response from other cast members was equally intense. According to reports, some members of the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast were privately concerned about how Marsau had handled the conversation. These cast members, who knew Kimmie personally, were reportedly uncomfortable with how cold and dismissive Marsau had been, especially given what Kimmie had been going through. Some even pulled him aside to express their concerns, telling him that his response lacked grace and could have been more understanding. But despite the growing tension, Marsau doubled down on his reaction. Rather than acknowledging the hurt he caused, he stood by his words, claiming that people were overreacting and that he had simply been honest. This only made the situation worse. Instead of calming the situation, Marsau's refusal to apologize or even acknowledge the pain he caused Kimmie added fuel to the fire. Fans were disappointed by his response, feeling that he didn't understand the issue at hand. It wasn't about his personality or being blunt, it was about how he responded to someone he loved and cared about when they were being vulnerable. And the fact that he didn't seem to understand that was what left people frustrated. What Marsau failed to grasp was the importance of empathy, especially in relationships. Mental health struggles are real, and dismissing them with cold, harsh words only makes the situation worse. Kimmie had been brave enough to share her emotional pain with him, but instead of offering support, Marsau's response was to shut her down. This created a situation where Kimmie, who was known for being strong and independent, was left feeling unheard and unsupported. The way mental health is approached in relationships is a topic that often doesn't get enough attention, and this moment on Love and Marriage Huntsville highlighted just how important it is to handle such conversations with care. When someone opens up about their mental health, they are showing a lot of vulnerability. Dismissing their feelings can be harmful and damaging, not only to the individual but to the relationship as a whole. Kimmie's experience with Marsau serves as a reminder of how important it is to approach mental health issues with understanding, respect, and empathy. After the episode aired, the tension behind the scenes of Love and Marriage Huntsville was palpable. Some cast members reportedly began distancing themselves from Marsau, not wanting to be associated with the backlash he was facing. They didn't want to be seen as unsympathetic or dismissive of mental health struggles, especially in light of how Marsau had reacted to Kimmie's vulnerability. This created a rift within the cast, with some members quietly distancing themselves from Marsau and others questioning whether his behavior was acceptable, but Marsau didn't seem to care about the growing tension. Instead of reflecting on his actions, he continued to defend his stance. In a way, his refusal to acknowledge the gravity of the situation made things worse. It showed that he didn't fully understand the harm his words had caused. What fans wanted was an acknowledgement that Marsau had hurt Kimmie, but instead, he insisted that people were being too sensitive. This only fueled the backlash, as it made it clear that Marsau wasn't taking the situation seriously. Kimmie, on the other hand, was left to deal with the aftermath of this uncomfortable moment. Behind the scenes, she has reportedly been deeply hurt by Marsau's comments. This wasn't just another disagreement, it was a moment where her emotional vulnerability was dismissed, and that can be a hard thing to bounce back from. Kimmie, who has always been strong and independent, now has to figure out how to move forward, both within her marriage and on the show. The situation has left her in a difficult position, as she is forced to process the hurt caused by someone she loves and trusts. But what's even more concerning is the impact this situation could have on the show as a whole. With the tension growing between cast members, the dynamics of the show could shift in a big way. Kimmie could find herself alienated from some members of the cast, while others might rally behind her in support. The fallout from this moment has the potential to change the relationships between the cast members, and it will be interesting to see how things unfold in future episodes. The situation also raises an important issue that goes beyond just this one incident. Mental health is still a taboo topic in many communities, and people, especially Black women, often face stigma when they try to talk about their struggles. The way Marsau handled Kimmie's emotional vulnerability is a reflection of how society, in general, tends to dismiss or minimize mental health issues. This is a conversation that needs to be had, not just on reality TV but in our everyday lives. We need to be more understanding and compassionate when it comes to mental health and emotional struggles. Dismissing someone's feelings or telling them to get over it is not helpful, it's harmful. In the end, this situation between Marsau and Kimmie is about more than just a disagreement on TV. It's about the way we, as a society, handle emotional vulnerability and mental health. It's about how we respond to those who are struggling and whether we offer them support or dismiss their feelings. Kimmie's experience serves as a reminder of how important it is to approach these conversations with care, respect, and empathy. We all need to be more mindful of how we treat others, especially when they are sharing something as personal and sensitive as their mental health struggles. So, what do you think about this whole situation? Was Marsau completely out of line, or do you think he had a point? How do you think Kimmie should move forward from here? Let's talk about it in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on how this situation was handled, and what you think it says about the way we talk about mental health in relationships.